Hey guys, so this is Riahs tie-dye. If you've never been here before, I tie-dye as much stuff as I can, and I do a lot of different stuff. So today is Tapestry Day. It's been a while. This one is technically a mandala, but the folding you guys probably have already seen a million times. It's the dyeing that's going to look awesome on this one. I have a new color I really want to use, and I haven't used it yet. It's called Dancing with Raisins. It's super pretty. It's very fall-y colored or whatever. Anyways, so we're going to fold up a mandala. I have a 5x5 tapestry here. It has been washed to get all of the residue out that it might have had on it. In whatever factory it was made in or wherever it was. Clothes and t-shirts have residue on it when they're made. So the washing is just to get all that out, just in case it reacts differently with the dye. And then it was soaked in soda ash for 20 minutes and spun out in the washer. So now it's damp. It's not dry or soaked or anything like that. So that helps when you're tying it and you're going to put your sinew on. It actually stays pretty close to put. If you're doing it dry, you're going to have to multitask with your hands and make sure you don't let go. So I like to do it damp and then let them dry out. So we're just going to get started, and 5x5, like I said, it's probably a couple inches off, but when you buy them, they're 58 inches by 58 inches. So we're going to fold it in half. And it's 100% cotton too, by the way, I'm just saying. If you don't have anything like this, or you need something like this, I have tons of links in my description box below that has everything that I use. So if you need anything or you don't know where to find something, I have everything down there. So I folded it in half, folding it in half again, and then I'm gonna press out wrinkles, make sure stuff's lined up, and it's not. But I'm really excited about that color because it's really pretty. And I need another tapestry in my life. And you guys do too. So we're gonna make that happen. So I'm just doing my best to line all of these up. Like I said, I think these are a couple inches off. So when they say 58 by 58, I think they're lying a little bit. Just maybe they're guessing. I don't know. So like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm trying my best here. So, I have a lot of people asking, or not asking, but telling me that they have issues finding the center of their fabric. Just to show you, if you're not using these specific tapestries, it's a little harder, kind of. These have loops, hanging loops on them, so you can tell that these are the very outsides of your tapestry. So you definitely don't want to pick that unless it's intentional. So if we turn this, you have your hanging loops here, your center of your mandala or the center of your fabric, just so you know, is totally opposite of your hanging loops, which is right here. So just to show you, totally opposite of your hanging loops. But you can see here, you can't stick your finger in this fold at all. It's one fold. But you can stick your finger in this side. There's only two pieces of fabric. So this is the center of your fabric. Now if you try that with this corner, there are 4 pieces of fabric here. Same with that corner and same with that corner. This is the only one that's different. So pick this one right here. This one across from your hanging loops, just so you know. Okay, so to make a mandala or to make a fold for your mandala, you get the center of your fabric right here, hold down the center of your fabric, and grab the open side of your tapestry and pull it like a triangle until you're lined up. Flatten it out. And then just make sure, this is a little tricky for some people. I had issues doing this when I first started. But you're going to grab all of the fabric in the center and then bring it towards you and grab all of the fabric up here. And you're going to lift it up, kind of like it'll look like a dog handkerchief that goes around their neck. And then flip it over because you're doing the same thing. Flatten it out. So say they were a couple inches off because I have some leftover fabric here. So there's that. Now you have to do that one more time. So yes, you could have just did 2 folds on one side and then flipped it and did 2 sides of the other. I just wanted to show you that. So now we are going to take the side with the hanging loops, not the short side, the long side, because there's 2 folds here. So we're going to take that, flip it back, make sure it's lined up, and then we're going to do it again. So this time it looks like a paper airplane. Grab all of the fabric here, and then put your fingers under and grab all of the fabric here, lift it up. Oh, I messed it up. I got it. Hold on a second. So if this happens to you, it's actually easy, okay? Just so you know, you don't have to undo the whole thing. So this side is still intact, so we just have to do the other side over again. So lift up your fabric, put it down. This happens to me a lot, just saying. All right. So basically when that happens, you got one side folded and one side not. All you do is grab the side that's not folded, bring it up like you're doing a regular fold like you were before. This is just upside down. And then pull it back again. Boom, we fixed it and didn't have to redo all of it. Good lesson. Okay. So now we have the center of our mandala will be here, and then obviously it goes out to the rest of the tapestry. So like I said, this is a super simple tie, but it's the way that we dye it that's going to make it look super awesome. So I have a washable marker. Like I said, if you don't have this stuff, or if you don't steal it from your kids like I do, I have links in the description box below, so check them out. I got some cheap stuff on there that is really good for tie-dye. Anyways, so if you need a ruler, definitely use one, but we're doing zigzags all the way up. So all we have to do is start at the bottom and do straight zigzags. I know I like to curve mine a lot, but do straight zigzags, and you can even arch them, like not arch them I should say, but make them larger, I guess. So what I mean is a shallow one would be like this, so it'd be like a little shallow triangle, or you can elongate them like that and make them longer. So I'm going to do that. So we're just going to keep doing that all the way up. I'm not curving them. I'm not doing anything special at all. Keep going all the way up. And that one curved because of the difference in fabric. Okay, so they got shallower as I got up there, but that's okay. That is okay. So it's just straight lines all the way up. We are using Sinew for all of these lines. And then after that, we want to try to keep each side together, so I'll show you how to do that afterwards. So we're gonna go through this real quick, but for those of you that have never been to my channel before, I have a Riahs tips and tricks video that shows you pretty much everything I do behind the scenes, such as making a slip knot for your sinew, soda ash, thick water dye, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to know how to make a slip knot with your sinew, such as that, boom, I have a video for that. So all we're going to do is down here, we are going to line our sinew up with the very bottom line. And I know it's going to be like, how do you pleat fold something like that? You don't. You don't. You just put the line on there because you can't. It's thick, but not too thick, and you're just going to have to trust me on this one. So what I do, you can't really pleat fold it. So what I do is I bend the fabric just so the tip of this side and the tip of that side basically are touching. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but basically I fold it like this. And then I put the sinew on that part. Put the sinew on that part and put it under the fold that I just did. And I hold on to the sinew and hold on, I'm trying to line it up. Pull it so it's tight. All right, see, it's pretty much lined up here. It's a little crooked down here, but that doesn't matter, especially when you're dyeing it. So now it's pulled so that it's holding on. I'm gonna wrap it around 3 times. This is waxy stuff, so you don't have to tie it off, which I love. I have a terrible time keeping my kite string tight, so that's why I like the sinew so much. So I hold it in between 2 fingers and pull it as hard as you can without snapping it. Boom. That actually is lined up pretty well. It pulled a little bit, but not much. Now you can cut that and start a new one, or you can just do what I do and keep going. So basically you're going to do that all the way up. It'll be a little bit easier to get pleat folds up here, still be super thick, but you can do it. So we're going to speed this up a little bit because it's kind of boring. You can still see how I'm doing it, but let's get to it. Alright, you guys, so that's all the sinew that we need. The next part, I am going to use some kite string. So the way that we want to dye this, we really want to keep the colors in the same general area. So we're going to try to push this all together so it's where it needs to be. So if it doesn't work, I will let you know, but we're going to squeeze this stuff together the best we can. We want to try to kind of line the sinew up. So everywhere that there is sinew, we're going to try to line it up and try to tie it so it'll stay, which might be hard to do, but we're going to try it. We're going to try to follow all the lines. Alright, so try it like that. So this doesn't have to be super tight or anything, but you're gonna hold that there. And then you might have to try to maneuver somehow. Like, I'm not gonna hold that end just so I can get this underneath, but I'm trying to get this underneath this tapestry. And I'm gonna pull it a little bit, pull this side a little bit, so it lines up. And then we're gonna do it again. Try to get it under there. Now you're gonna have to go back and forth so that obviously it's not going to bunch up in the wrong place. And my string just keeps wanting to pull on me, so I'm just gonna keep trying to put this together. It's not terrible, but we're gonna follow the sinew line when we dye it anyway, so it'll be alright. Doesn't have to be perfecto at all. So because this is thick, it's going to be a little bit on the difficult side to saturate all the way with the dye. So you can either ice dye it if you want. The way I wanted to do it, I definitely wanted to liquid dye it because there's a certain way that I want it to look. So that's the reason why I'm doing this tapestry this way, because there's a cool design that I really wanted to try, and I feel like it's just not going to work if I don't do it like this. So basically, we're going to let this dry out. Everywhere that there is sinew, we're going to leave white around it. And then around that, so we're going to leave some white space. Then we're going to use the Dancing with Raisins. And then we'll pick like another color that kind of goes with it. And, you know, if it mixes, it mixes. And it doesn't look terrible, that's great. So I'm probably going to play around with the dyes just to see which one it goes with the best. But so leave it white, Dancing with Raisins. Leave it white again, and then the very outsides, we're going to dye another color. So it'll look super cool when we open it up. But I am going to let it dry out because I feel like for some reason when you let it dry out and it still has soda ash in it, the dye doesn't move as much. It doesn't bleed as much. So we're going to let this sit at least overnight and then dye it. And we'll be ready to go. So this is our tapestry ready to get dyed. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, here's our tapestry. It sat overnight, so it's got a little bit of dampness to it if you poke down into it. It's not swampy or anything, but it did sit overnight. I have two colors I'm going to use today, and I told you before I did this, when we were tying it up, that it really wasn't the way that we tied it, it was the way that we were going to dye it. So we did a full mandala, and we are using, depending on you, I guess, it's up to you what you're using, but I am using Dances with Raisins. It's kind of a purpley red color, and I think it's really pretty and fall looking, and that is from Dharma Trading Company. And then I have gray from Grateful Dyes, just called gray. So that is it. That is all I'm using for this. So real quick, the way we're going to dye this is, so you're going to follow your sinew lines. So on either side of it, I wouldn't go too far. You're going to want some room for your gray, but you're going to go, every time you hit a sinew line, you're going to go on either side of it. Try to make it as equal as you can as the last one. So if I do that thick, you're going to want to do that thick on the next one, that thick on the next one, that thick on the next one. And it's going to look like you're zigzagging, but it's just because our fabric is a lot thicker than most. Normally people try to flatten these out so these match up a lot better and you can go straight up and down, but that's not how it worked for me. It did kind of down here, but not up here so much. So that's how I'm going to do that. And then you're going to try to leave a little bit of white before you put the gray on. So pretend this is a straight line. You're going to have your color, mine right now is Dancing with Raisins, all the way down the middle. And then you're going to leave white, and then on the very outsides, so like that, on the very outsides, you're going to have gray in my case. So make sure you leave a white space because that would be awesome when you open it, I promise. So we're going to get dyeing this, and then we'll talk about how to let it sit and everything like that. Alright you guys, so this is all dyed. I know it looks a little bit rough, but it really is not like that. So even if it bleeds together, it's still going to look super cool. So for this, we are going to leave this sitting for 24 hours. That is how long you need to let your fiber reactive dye sit for to let it react with your fabric. So I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours. And then we're going to rinse it in cold water, which basically takes all the soda ash out of the fabric. And then you can let it get a little bit warmer to help with the dye situation. Rinse it until the water runs clear or as close as you can get to that, because some colors are harder than others, such as purple or black. I have not used Dancing with Raisins, so I'm not sure how that one works when you're rinsing it out, but then we will be able to do our reveal, and I'm really excited, so we'll be back for that. Alright guys, I hope you had a happy Halloween. We had fun, so we got our beautiful mandala. So this video obviously was how to tie-dye a beautiful mandala tapestry. Try to do as many as I can. The tapestries are getting to be scarce these days. I keep trying to order some, but they never have any. So just keep a lookout for me, will ya? This is the specific way to dye this pattern. And yes, we tied it exactly like any other mandala without the extra different shapes when we draw on it. But the way we dyed it is the way that it's going to make it look different than all the other ones. So I'm hoping that it looks awesome, and I think it does. So I finally used my Dancing with Raisins that I bought from Dharma. And I'm really excited because I think after it gets washed, it's going to look extra awesome. And I also used gray, which was from Grateful Dyes. Trying to remember as I do that. This was all Sinew. I did have a little bit of Kite String to hold it down on it, but that came off while I was rinsing it. I'm gonna try to get this part off. Okay, I got it. Alright guys, let me just show you this real quick. Look at that. That looks cool. You ready? I'm ready. Alright, so this is one of our beautiful mandala tapestries, which specifically for fall, I guess, but if you like the colors. Ooh, that looks super awesome. So you can see the way that you dye it is why it turns out like this. It's different from any normal mandala, but not at the same time. So you get some white, you get some gray, and you get some dancing with raisins. I love this one, it's so pretty. Really happy with my color choice on this one. Alright you guys, so up next we have a set of onesie pajamas specifically for an adult like myself. 100% cotton, large, extra large, whatever, but I use a couple of my favorite colors. Sorry, I can't talk today. So that is the very next video. You're not going to want to miss that. And just in case you want to be notified, hit the subscribe button, and then right after that, hit that notification bell and turn it on to all, and I will see you next time.